I recognize the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Cole, for any remarks he cares to make.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And before I get into my prepared statement, I just want to tell my friend, the director, how happy I am you're in your present post. A lot of us had the great privilege of knowing you from your time in service and the staff on the House, and particularly with Devin Nunes. And I don't think the president could have made a better appointment. And I think you're off to a great start. And I look forward to working with you. I know you'll find and know Chairman Rogers, but you'll find the members of this committee very anxious to work with you to make the American people safer and more secure. So just thank you for being there. Thank you for the sacrifice you went through. I know you didn't have the easiest of confirmation processes, but I think that was probably to be expected. But thanks for going through it. And thanks again for taking this responsibility, because I know you're going to discharge it with great distinction. Mr. Chairman, again, thank you. Ranking Member Min, well, it's one of those days. Thank you very much, and it's good to be with both of you here today. I'd like to welcome you, Mr. FBI Director. It's good to see you again, and thank you for appearing before us today. I want to remind everyone that when the Dean of the House and the chair of this subcommittee entered Congress back in 1981, discretionary spending stood at 45% of the federal budget, and mandatory spending was 55%. Fast forward today, we now have discretionary spending reduced to 28%, and mandatory spending having swelled to 72%. And as a percentage of the GDP, when the dean got here, we were appropriating 9.8% of the GDP. We appropriate 6.4% of the GDP today. I simply point that out to say if we have a spending problem, it's not the Appropriations Committee where the problem is. We've actually reduced the amount of the resources of the American people we've taken to discharge our responsibilities, and the dean's been a big part of that. Wouldn't have happened without him. The president has delivered, obviously, a starting point for this process of appropriations with his recent FY26 blueprint. Congress will now analyze the submission and use hearings to evaluate priorities moving forward, as we're doing here today. I would remind everyone, and certainly it's not the responsibility of the director of the FBI, the quicker we can get a full budget, the better off we'll be. We'll be able to make smarter decisions and, frankly, work with you more clearly. I know you share that frustration. And I always say it's nobody's fault. Every new administration, it takes time to get people approved, take time to get people. But we are at crunch time if we're going to get these bills out of here in a timely enough process for the full Congress to consider them and for us to have an opportunity to negotiate a final agreement with our colleagues across the rotunda in the United States Senate. But to the point of the hearing today, the mission of the Federal Bureau of Investigations is a significant one. Protect the American people and uphold the Constitution. Your work to secure our communities, along with preserving the integrity and trust of our top law enforcement agencies, is impactful each and every day. Importantly, the FBI has been instrumental in Operation Not Forgotten that focuses on investigations, services, and intelligence for Indian country. According to the Department of Justice, at the beginning of fiscal year 2025, the FBI's Indian Country program had approximately 4,300 open investigations, including 900 death investigations, 1,000 child abuse investigations, and more than 500 domestic violence and adult sexual abuse investigations. Director Patel, I want to thank you and the FBI for reinstating and bolstering this critically important initiative, not only for Oklahoma, but also for the entire country. As you may know, more than 4 in 5 Native American and Alaskan Native women have experienced violence in their lifetime. The murder rate is 10 times higher than the national average for women living on reservations. Initiatives like these are what make the FBI stand apart. Very important when looking at these to understand the great majority of the perpetrators are not Native Americans. They're non-Native Americans, and they're on reservations and in Indian country for a very simple reason. I always like to say, hunters know where to hunt, fishermen know where to fish, predators know where to prey. They go to places that are quite often remote, where enforcement is difficult, and where jurisdiction is sometimes complex and tangled. So again, your focus on this knotty problem and persisting problem is deeply appreciated, certainly by me, and I think members on both sides of the aisle. Our nation faces also countless threats, from terrorism and drug traffickers to cyber crimes and child exploitation. Violent criminals work to expose our weaknesses on a daily basis. The work of the FBI is unmatched, and thus Congress must effectively and efficiently appropriate funding to match these overwhelming tasks. Director Patel, I look forward again to this afternoon's conversation on these matters, as well as a thorough discussion of the budget. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that, I yield back.